Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi, Nazir Daf Vav. We begin on Daf Hey at the third line towards the bottom. Tanan we have learned in a Mishnah. So this is a reference back to the sugya we had yesterday. We had a machlekes. A person becomes a Nazir. How long does that last for? Is it a 29-day experience according to Bar Pada, or is it a 30-day experience according to Rav Masna? Rav Masna says, we have a pasuk, Kodesh Yihiyeh. Yihiyeh has a Yud and a Hey and a Yud and a Hey, the numerical value of which is 30. So Yihiyeh, Begematria 30, indicating the duration of Nazirus. No hair cutting, no drinking wine, etc. for 30 days, after which he cuts his hair, brings his karbanis, and he's done his Nazirus. Bar Pada says it's really a 29-day experience. The reason being, because if we take a close look at the wording, at the psukim, in the parsha of Nazir, we'll find that the Torah mentions a Lashon Neder or a Lashon Nazir 29 times to indicate that it's a 29-day experience. But of course you must wait until day 30, you must complete the 29 and spill over into day 30, after which you can take care of the haircut, etc. So, according to Bar Pada, Nazirus lasts for 29 full days, after which you can conclude the Nazirus by cutting your hair and bringing a korban. Rav Masna says it's a 30-day experience. However, we apply the concept of miktsas hayom kikulei. As long as you experience part of that 30th day, it is considered as though you have experienced the entire day. As long as you had a taste of that day 30, miktsas hayom, a part of that day is considered like the whole day. You've entered into day 30, you have experienced day 30, in which case, even according to Rav Masna, who says Nazirus lasts for 30 days, as long as you're a bit into day 30, that's enough. So bottom line is, all agree, Rav Masna and Bar Pada both agree, you take your haircut on day 30. But the reasons are different. According to Bar Pada, it's because you have finished your full Nazirus by doing 29 days. Once you're past 29, you're finished. According to Rav Masna, it's really a 30-day experience, but even a bit of that 30th day is considered and counts as day 30. We have obviously learned, and we're going to repeat that today again, that Midir of course, you're meant to keep a full 30 days, as we're going to see in a minute. So again, bottom line is, according to Rav Masna, Nazirus really is a 30-day experience. According to Bar Pada, it's really only a 29-day experience. Tanan, we have learned in the Mishnah about a fellow who made a double Nazirus. Misha Nazar Beis Nazirus. A fellow says, I am going to be mekabel upon myself 2 Nazirus, which obligates him to keep 30 and 30 consecutively. When does he do his haircut? Misha Nazar Beis Nazirus. The haircut at the conclusion of the first 30 days takes place on day 31, so he has to get past a full 30 days. On day 31 comes the haircut. Right? The second haircut on the second set, on the second Nazirus, comes when? On day 61. Now, we just want to point this out. The Rishonim, Rabbi Peretz, others mentioned that according to all Shitais, miktsas hayom kikulei, although perhaps cannot be applied at the end of the 30-day set, as we're going to see soon. It's really machlekes tanoim. But at the beginning, at the initiation of your Nazirus, let's say you accept Nazirus 12 o'clock, noon. You don't need to wait till tomorrow to start your Nazirus, because that's what your chiyuv was. You've accepted upon yourself starting right now. This is considered the initiation of your Nazirus. This counts as day 1. The whole discussion of whether or not to apply miktsas kikulei by Nazirus is only regarding the last day. Can you stop in the middle of the last day? Can you say that as long as I kept something, that counts as the last day and I'm done. That's going to be the shaila. But in a case where he starts in the middle of the day, of course, that remainder, that leftover, time, whatever's remaining of that day is considered day one. So here we have a case where a fellow was makabel 2 naziris, 30 and 30. Mishnah says you must keep a full 30-day set, and that's why the first haircut takes place on day 31. But that day already counts as day one for the next set. And therefore the Mishnah says Vashniya. So the next haircut takes place on day 61. Because that second set had begun on day 31, which is the first day of that second set. 30 days are over on day 60, and therefore on day 61, which is totally past the 30 days, you are ready for your second haircut. That's the Mishnah. Question is, according to Rav Masna, we fully understand why you need a full 30-day experience. According to Rav Masna, Kodesh Yihye, Bigematria 30, he must have 30 full days. Ela lebar pada kasha. According to Bar Pada, all you need is 29 days. Amalach Bar Pada responds, Amos Seif. Okay, the first part of this Mishnah indeed poses a difficulty according to my Shita. What about the next part of the Mishnah, which says that B'di'evet vim gilach eser rishona l'yom shloshim, suppose he cut off a day. So the first haircut took place on day 30 instead of day 31. That's okay. It works. In which case, the second haircut will take place on day 60, a full 30 days later. So clearly, you can take a haircut even on day 30, which fits well with my view, says Bar Pada, that technically a Naziris is only a 29-day experience, in which case, although lechatchil you should wait until the next day, but it certainly works, and that's what it says in the Seifa. It's fully compatible with my Shita. Says the Gemara, okay, ela Seifa masayele. So this last halacha, which says that b'di'evet, if you cut hair on the 30th day, it works. That's a right to Bar Pada. Reisha, what about the first part of the Mishnah, which we mentioned before, which advises you to do the haircut only on day 31? How does Bar Pada explain that? Why wait until day 31? Answer is ba'emer shleimim, according to the Bach. Ugaris nasa ka'emer shleimim. The Chachamim were concerned on account of a case where a person will perhaps clearly express his interest in doing a Naziris for a full 30-day period, in which case you can't cut corners, and you have to actually do it for 30 days. So, on account of that type of case, Chachamim recommend that typically the standard Naziris should last for a full 30 days and only take a haircut on day 31. But Minat Torah, a haircut on day 30 is okay, provided he did not say Shleimim, rather just said, I want to be a Nazir. Naziris, standard Naziris, is a 29-day experience. So Bar Pada explained the Mishnah according to his Shita. Standard Naziris is 29 days. Midrabanan, wait another day for the haircut, on account of the Chashash of Shleimim. Well, Rav Masna Kashya Seifa. Now, let's go back to Rav Masna. Minat Torah. Naziris is a 30-day experience. That explains the first part of the Mishnah. Haircutting should only take place on day 31. Once you're done, you're 30. What about the second part of the Mishnah, Kashya Seifa, which says, B'di'evet, you can do it on day 30 itself. You don't have 30 full days. Amalach Rav Masna. Kediktani Seifa, the Mishnah itself explains itself. Yayim Shleishim Eila Lakan Lakan. The reason why it works is because day 30 counts as day 30 of the first set. Miksas Hayim Kekula. Once you kept even a part of that 30th day, it could count as day 30, the last day of the first set. So you get your 30 days there. And the remainder of that day, after the haircut, until the end of the day, could count as day 1 for the next set. We are applying the concept of Miksas Hayim Kekula. So there you go. You have your 30 days. Mahi, what do you mean to say Miksas Hayim Kekula? You mean to apply this idea? Ha'amr Chadazimna. We've already discussed this in the past. We have another Mishnah which already taught us that halacha, as we had yesterday. Why repeat it again? Ma'od the chiddush is like this. Perhaps I would think, Han immediately leinin chada nazirus. Mikta seyem kekula could only be applied to a single nazirus experience. So instead of having to keep, a full 30-day experience, you can stop on day 30, mikta seyem kekula, because you only have one nazirus going. But aval shtei nazirus, perhaps in a case such as this one, where you have two consecutive nazirus, one after the other, you can't, take that day 30 and apply it in both directions. I'm going to take a haircut on day 30. Consider the first part of this day as the last and final day for the first Nazirus, and consider the next part of the day as the first day for the upcoming Nazirus. Perhaps you can't do that. You can't split a day into two. It's either this or that, Kamash Shablan. That's the Chiddush. You can do that. So bottom line is, when one is Makabal two Nazirus, the Mishnah says, L'chatchila, first haircut is on day 31. Second haircut on day 61. Why? We want you to keep a full 30-day experience. L'chatchila, we don't cut corners. We don't want to do miktasayim kekulay. We had a discussion yesterday based perhaps on a pasuk. L'chatchila, we want malois, full days. There's a svara, according to Barpada, Midrabanan, we're concerned about a person who might say shleimim. L'chatchila, don't cut corners. But the eved, even a haircut on day 30 works, whether it's because, according to Barpada, you have your 29 days, or according to Rav Masna, because of Miksa Sem Kekulai, we have a Chiddush. We can take one day, apply part of it in this direction, and part of it in the other direction, applying a double Miksa Sem Kekulai. Here comes another kasha. Tanan, we have a Mishnah. Im Gilach Yom Shishim Chaser Echad Yatsa. Once again, a fellow has two Nazirus, side by side, one after the other, I should say, and he does the first haircut on day 30, but the evidence works. He's meant to wait for the second haircut until day 60, but if he does it on day 59, im gilach yom shishim chaser echad yatsa. Why? How is he yatsa? Sheyem shleishim oilolay min aminim, because as we explained, day 30 can count in both directions. It counts as day 30 for the first set, and day 1 for the second set. Thus, day 59 is really day 30. Right? If you start, day 30 is considered the first of the second set, so 30 is the first, 31 is the second day, 33 is etc., etc. Till you get to day 59, it's day 30 of the second set. Bishleim le Rav Masna nicha. According to Rav Masna, this makes perfect sense. We need that haircut day to count A as the last day of the first set, and B as the first day of the second set. Elul bar pada lamali. But according to Barpada, why does the Mishnah have to say that? The haircut day counts in both directions. Ha'amar shloishim chaser echad. Barpada holds that you don't need to wait until day 30. So you don't need to apply the haircut day and consider it as the last day for the first set. You don't need 30 days for Nazirus. Right? So as long as he's past 29 days, and then he takes his haircut on day 30, you're good. Because technically, you have done your full Nazirus, which is really 29 days. So why does the Mishnah have to say that a fellow who took his haircut on day 30, well, that day will count as the last day for the previous set, and the first day for the next set. You don't need to apply to the previous set. The previous set doesn't need 30, but the other 29 days is enough. Ha'amar shloishim chaser echad, according to Rapada, 29 days is enough. Amalach, Rapada responds, Anonami ahosamchi. Actually, I was coming from this Mishnah. I didn't learn the Mishnah like you did. When the Mishnah says Yom shloishim oilolay min aminyan, all it means to say is that it counts as the first day for the next set. So again, a person was makabel 30 and 30, took his haircut on day 30, which is past 29 days. That's okay on its own, by its own merits. Right? What about the next set? He took his haircut on day 59. Right? Question is, he doesn't even have 29 full days. The answer is, No, Yom Shleishim Oilolei Min Aminyan. Because day 30, where he took his haircut, can be applied to the next set as day 1 for the next set, in which case day 59 from the total of the total arrangement is really day 30 of that second set. Because when you start on day 30, 59 is already day 30. So he's past his 29 and he's good. Tanan, here comes another kasha. Misha Amar Harini Nazir. A person was Makabal Nazirs. Nitma Yom Shleishim. He became tummy on day 30. Seiser Esakol. It destroys his entire experience. It cancels all the days that he kept. He has to restart. All the way from the scratch. Says the Gemara, Bishlam L'Rav Masna Nicha. According to Rav Masna, I understand why the entire experience gets cancelled, even though he became tummy on Yom Shleishim. Yom Shleishim, it's Seiser because Nazirus lasts for 30 days. He never successfully completed his 30 days. But according to Arpada, that Ika Nazirus is 29 days kasha, so why is he Seiser his Nazirus? He completed his experience. It's past 29. Amelch Bar Pada. Amos Sefer Pada refers us to this next part of the Mishnah. Well, we have Rabbi Lezer. Amos Seiser l'Shiva. Lezer says, don't worry about it. Once you're past your 29, you're safe. You're out of the woods, and you just have to wait your 7 days. The Mishnah uses the word Seiser, but the Mefarish explains it just means to say he has to wait until he gets through the whole Hazah of the Paraduma on the 3rd and the 7th day, etc., until he can get back on track and do his karbanis, etc. Right? So if you're going to tell me that Nazirus is a 30-day experience, how do we understand Rabbi Lezer? Nistar Kulu. Why does Rabbi Lezer not cancel the entire experience? It should be Seiser everything, because he wasn't done yet. He got tummy during his Nazirus. So that's Barpada's Raya that in fact once you hit day 30 you're out of your Nazirus, because Nazirus only lasts for 29 days. Now the Chachamim, so explains Taisus, the Chachamim apparently hold that even though technically you're done your Nazirus because it's already day 30, but Choshesh for a case where he might have accepted upon himself 30 days Shleimim, as we mentioned before, and therefore every Nazirus has the same Chumrah. We say, well, until you're really out of the woods, until you're really done your 30, you're not done, and any tumah that occurs within that 30 is Seiser everything. So it's a side point, Machlekes, between Rabbi Lezer, who's not Choshesh for this Gzeira, says once you're done 29, you're done, and Rabbanan say we're concerned about a case where he would have accepted upon himself explicitly 30 days. So any Nazirus has the same guidelines. That's the Machlekes. But Minat Torah, 29 is done. So that's a kasha on Rav Masna now. How could Rabbi Lezer say that a tumah on day 30 doesn't harm your Nazirus? What do you mean? According to Rav Masna, until you're done, until you bring your kabbanas, your geluach, you're not finished. You're still a Nazir, even on day 30. Because Sava Rabbi Lezer mixasayim kekulai. Here is the famous Rabbi Lezer, and he holds even keeping a part of that 30 is considered as though you've kept that whole day. Mixasayim kekulai, and Rabbanan disagree. They hold that we don't say mixasayim kekulai. Now, lest we think that this is a shas machlekes, meaning we all know about mixasayim kekulai. We never thought it was machlekes between Rabbi Lezer and the Rabbanan. So the Taisus explains, sure, it's a local discussion here. Typically, you do say mixasayim kekulai by avelos, etc., but over here, there's a special reason why the Chachamim disagree. A fellow who became tummy on day 30 before he brought his karbanos, it's not over yet. You're right. If he would have really concluded his Nazirus properly, bring your karbanos, took his haircut, of course you can consider whatever he had on that day as day 30, even if it wasn't a full day. But if he hadn't gotten to that point, he hadn't really completed his Nazirus experience, you can't consider the Nazirus as done and over with. We consider it to be still within the realm of Nazirus. He's still inside his Nazirus, and when he becomes tummy, it's all cancelled. So when we spoke before about Rav Masna, applying Mikzas Yom Kikulei, the Mefarish explains that it was based on this Gemara here, that according to Rabbi Lezer, Mikzas Yom Kikulei even by the last day of Nazirus. That's the Mefarish. However, it would appear according to Tosfos that that when Rav Masna applies Mikzas Yom Kikulei, it's L'Kuli Alma. It's just that over here, when he wasn't successful, he got tummy. Then we have a Shaila. Rabbi Lezer says, even in this case, we apply the idea of Mikzas Yom Kikulei. Chacham achaylek on that. Okay, one more raya. Tanan, we have a Mishnah. Hareini Nazir Mea Yom. This time he actually said clearly, I'm going to be a Nazir for 100 days. Nitma Yom Mea. He became tummy on day 100. Soiser Zakoil. It's all over. He has to start from scratch. Rabbi Lezer Omer, no. Ein Soiser Ela Shleishim Yom. All he has to redo is 30 days. Okay, that's the Mishnah. Rabbi Lezer Mikzas Yom Kikulei. Now, according to you, Rav Masna, the Rabbi Lezer holds a Mikzas Hayom. So once he's on day 30, once he has experienced part of that last day, which completes his Nazirus, Nistar Shiva. All he has to do is wait 7 days to finish his, Tahara process, and that's it. It shouldn't nullify his Nazirus. So that's a kasha on Rav Masna. V'iloi savar Mikzas Yom Kikulei, and according to Bar Pada, who doesn't learn like that, he doesn't hold that you can apply Mikzas Yom Kikulei. Well, in that case, Listoir Kulu. He should destroy everything. The whole Nazirus should go down the drain, because we're speaking clearly about 100-day Nazirus. Even Rav Pada agrees that he has to keep a full 100 days when he said 100 days. So basically, this kasha is on both shittas. It's going to be a kasha on Rav Masna. What happened to Mikzas Yom Kikulei? It's going to be a kasha on Bar Pada. It was a clearly expressed a 100-day Nazirus, which was never completed successfully. Answers the Gemara, Lo'elam lo yamrinon Mikzas Yom Kikulei. Let's work with Bar Pada right now. We don't apply Mikzas Yom Kikulei. Question, if that's the case, Listar Kulu. He became tummy on day 100. It should destroy everything. Omeresh Lokish, you're right, but there's a special pasuk, a special chiddush. If he became tummy so late in the game, on the last day we have a pasuk which gives him a discount, gives him a pass. Hainu Tamid Rabbi Lezer, Amakra, Zois Toras HaNazir. B'yoyim Melois Yimei Nizra, you learn from here that there's a special dispensation for Tumah on the Yoyim Melois, on that last day, the day that was meant to complete his experience. HaTorah Amra, Nitma B'yoyim Melois. He became tummy, but if it's the last day of his Nazirus, day 100, like in our case, Tein Loi Toras Nazir, give him just another Nazir experience. Standard Nazir experience is 30 days, that's all. He doesn't have to redo the whole 100. Tosfos points out, this is good according to Bar Pada's approach. But we haven't really answered Rav Masna. Rav Masna holds a Mikzas Yom Kikulei. So even if it became tummy on day 100, Mikzas Yom Kikulei, it's over. Says Tosfos, perhaps we'll say that we're speaking in a case where he said, I want to be a Nazir 100 days, Mea Yom Shalemim, full days, in which case we can't say Mikzas Yom Kikulei, and therefore he has a problem on his hands. Tanakama says everything has been destroyed, and Releza says just 30 days, seemingly based on this pasuk. Perhaps this machlek is amaroim between Rav Masna, who holds that Nazirus is a 30-day experience, as opposed to Bar Pada, who says it's just a 29-day experience, matches up with another machlekes Tanoi. Pasuk says Ad Meleis Hayamim. He must keep Nazirus until he fills the days, until he finishes the Yemei Nazirus. How many days are those? Shem Ami, I would perhaps speculate, Miut Yom Shnayim. What's the minimum? When you say Yomim, perhaps just 2 days. So he needs to be a Nazir just for 2 days. Talmud Leimer, Kodesh Yeh Gadol Pera. Yehiyah is B'gematria 30. Ein Gidol Seir Pachas Mishleishim. He must let his hair grow for at least 30 days. Div Rabbi Yeshe, which seems to match with Rav Masna. Rabbi Yehuda, we don't need this gematria. Hari Yomer, the pasuk says, "Am lois hayamim." He must be a nazir until the days are full. And we have a drush. Elu yam hein yamim shetzrichen lamalis. Well, what is a unit in time which needs to be filled sometimes, which is sometimes missing and needs to be filled in? Haviyam shloishin. That's the 30-day, the month experience. Sometimes a month needs to be turned into 30 because, as we know, the lunar cycle is really a 29-day plus system. And therefore, sometimes we have to fill in an extra day to get a full, to get us, on track. So sometimes a month is 29, sometimes it's 30. And that's how long you have to be a Nazir. You need to be a Nazir for a month which is a unit in time, which is sometimes filled with missing days. Sorry. No, you need to be a Nazir for a month, which is really a 29-day experience, which is sometimes filled in, and a 30th day added. But Naziris is really just 29 days. Your standard month. My love, so perhaps we can say Rav Masna, who says Naziris is 30 days, Damak Rabbi Yeshe, is following Rabbi Yeshe, who likewise learned from the word Yiyah, the Gematria 30, that Nazir is 30 days. Uba Pada, who says a Nazir lasts only 29 days, the Amak Rabbi Yehuda, who says it's just a month-long experience, a 29-day experience. Amalach Rav Masna responds, no, Kuli Amo Shleishim Be'inan, perhaps all Tanaim in this price agree it's 30 days. And that's why Rabbi Yehuda, who learns from Ad Malais Hayamim, will also end up with 30 days. How is that? Kuli almo shloishim beinan. According to all shittas, you need 30 days. V'acha ba'ad v'ad b'chlal pligi. When you have the word ad, such as in this pasuk, when it says ad malay sayim, until the days are filled, until the 30th day, which fills the month. When we say ad, this is a Shas discussion. Whenever we say the word ad, does it include the destination? Or is it up until and not including that last element? Rabbi Yeshe savar ad v'li ad b'chlal. Rabbi Yeshe figured, when it says ad, it's up until, not including. Ad Malais Hayamim does not include that day, that 30th day, which is used to fill the month. And therefore he was compelled to look for another source. And he came up with it. Kodesh Yiyah, Gadol Pera, Yiyah, B'Gematria 30. Rabbi Yehuda savar ad, when it says ad, it's va'ad b'chlal. It includes that last element, in which case he could have just focused on the pasuk of ad malais hayamim, which he did, until the malais hayamim, until the day 30th, the 30th day, and including that 30th day which fills the month. But bottom line is, everybody agrees it's a 30-day experience. That's according to Rav Masna. And Taisus points out that according to Rav Pada, in fact, it's a machlekes Tanaim, because he couldn't answer like this. He couldn't say everybody holds of 30. Rav Pada holds 29. So according to him, there is a machlekes Tanaim. Rabbi Yeshe looks at Yihya, which is 30, and Rabbi Yehuda looks at Ad Malais Hayamim. It's a standard month, a 29-day month, which corresponds with Bar Pada's Shita. That's a 29-day experience. Amar Mar. What do we find? A unit in time, days, which sometimes need to be, filled in. That's the month experience, which sometimes then turns into 30. How do we know it's a month? Ve'ema Shabbos. Maybe we're speaking about, a week-long experience, and what comes to fill up the week? Shabbos. Shabbos completes the week. So perhaps a Nazir is only 7 days. The answer is Shabbos mi'ike chasirusa. Since when? Since when is Shabbos coming to fill in something missing? It's only missing in the week, and therefore it doesn't really, match up. Ve'imashana. What about a year? Maybe you have to be a Nazir for a full year, because a year sometimes needs to be filled in. We're talking about the lunar year. right? All based on how long the months are. Some years are missing days, corresponding to the solar year. It would seem from the Mefarish. No, the kasha is not corresponding to the solar year, rather within the year itself. Right? Within the year itself, sometimes you have a year which is 353 days, 354, 355. It all depends on on the length of the months and how we set up the months. So basically, we do arrange, we do manipulate, so to speak, the length of the year by adding days here and there. So perhaps that's what the pasuk means. A year which is manipulated by days. Answers the Gemara, no. A year is not really built with days, so to speak. It's built with months. Mi maninan liyomi. A year is not put together by counting days, by adding days. V'harabbanan the Kisri Ami, as the Rabbanan of Caesarea told us, minayin she'ein moinen yomim l'shanim. How do we know that we never take a lunar year and say, look, it needs to match up to the solar year and let's add some days? We never do that. A year is comprised of months. We count up months as building blocks to create years, as opposed to adding days, random days to sort of shore up our years. We don't do that. Although every couple of years we do a leap year, we add a month, but we never add sporadic days, random days, to fix up our years. A year is comprised of months, and although the amount of days in a given year perhaps sometimes do fluctuate, that's because the months are not set entities. Sometimes we have 29-day months, 30-day months, and every given year can have a different arrangement in terms of how many short months and long months are contained in that year. That's because the months are arranged based on days, but the years are not based on days. Therefore, the pasuk which speaks about Melois Hayamim, a set of days which are manipulated and shored up, that's not speaking about a unit in time of a year. Rather, we're speaking about a unit in time of a month, which in fact is manipulated by the days contained therein. Okay, let's summarize. A fellow is makabel nazirus. So if he stipulates, I want to be a nazir for 30 full days, you can't cut corners. He says 100 days, same thing. What about stam nazirus? Mishnah says stam nazirus is 30 days. Why? According to Rav Masna, Kadesh Yihya is 30 days. Gematria of Yihya is 30. Papada says really it's 29 days. We wait until day 30 because you need to finish your 29 days. You don't say Mikzas Yom Kikulei. And therefore you have to wait until day 30. Even Rav Masna agrees that you can do the Geluach on day 30 because of Mikzas Yom Kikulei. Lechatchila, everybody agrees you should wait until day 31. We don't want to say Mikzas Yom Kikulei. We don't want to cut corners. There's a chashash of a fellow saying Shleimim. So l'chatchila, all agree you have to have a full 30-day experience, but b'diavad you can do the geluach on day 30. What if a person becomes tamei? We had a chiddush of Rabbi Lezer. If it's on the Yom Elois, then even if it was a very super long naziris of 30 days, you only have to redo a teras nazir, which is a 30-day experience. In contrast to the standard method, the standard consequence of a fellow who becomes tamei during the naziris experience, where he cancels everything. We concluded with a brisa, which had two shitas in terms of the source of the days of nazirus. Is it from Yiyah? Is it from Admalois Hayamim? And according to Rav Masna, everybody agrees Naziris is 30 days. It's just a question of where to learn it from, whether from the Gematria or from Melois Hayama, which the Gemara proves is a reference to a month-long 30-day experience. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.